pregame.tv. I want to be an American. I got VR here. I'm Steve Fezzik. He's doing the Hulkster.
Say your prayers and eat your vitamins this football season.
That's right. We're going to be breaking down UNLV, going to the land of 10,000 lakes, Minnesota, and already smack talk almost north of the border here. Star Tribune blog. And I quote, the only tradition UNLV football has is that of losing. We're going to be breaking down this game. I got a best bet on this game VR. I don't know. I guess when you don't have any women to look at, in Minnesota, your mind wanders.
Yeah, unlike you don't hear the UNLV players talking about that. They have a lot of women to look at out here.
No doubt.
But they're right. Bobby Hawk, 3 years here, 6-32. 6-32. 2 years, 3 years,
two
whatever
wins,
he is.
2 wins.
It's ridiculous.
2 wins blinking, yes.
It's ridiculous. I mean, he could win at Montana. He can't win at UNLV. These are two teams.
Yet.
Agree. Two teams that are expected to finish pretty much in the basement. You have Minnesota expected to finish last in the Legends division in the Big 12, in the Big 10. You have UNLV, the only team probably going to be worse than them in the Mountain West is Hawaii. So these are two bottom dwellers. One shouldn't be calling the other one,
his
a
third
losing.
year has always been his home run year. That's the case in Northern Illinois. Bad, mediocre, good.
Agree.
So maybe if he stops having seizures on the sideline, this might be a year they can get up and competitive. But it's interesting. Most people ignore UNLV. I don't know about the smack talk.
They're excited about this quarterback, this Nick Sherry. He's expected to keep improving. He's a sophomore. They're excited about the running back, Tim Cornette. He's the only threat they have, more or less.
They got the kid from Northwestern that's going to be running the ball, too. So,
yeah, and they got a lot of returning starters, 9 on offense, 9 on defense. Only problem is they're returning from an awful team. So I don't know if that's a good thing.
They were awful. I just don't think it didn't translate into wins. They lost to this team in overtime last year, as you know. And so they really could have won 4 games. He did the whole Pythagorean theorem and how many should we have
Agree.
They lost to Cupcake State 17-10. Houck almost lost his job that week. I can't be losing. I never get the lower divisions, what they're even called. So we'll just call it, the Cupcake division.
Yeah, the FBS, whatever they're called.
Horrific, And I really think that this is going to be the year that UNLV steps it up. And I played over 2.5. It's my biggest bet of the year. And I tried to cash it. And Cantor Gaming said
you gotta wait.
Got to wait and make sure they said make sure they play 12 games, otherwise it's a refund.
You like the total in this game, right?
I do like the total, and we're gonna get to that total. I always feel week 1. I tend to look, although my totals expert says it kind of balances out, but everyone likes to bet unders week 1. Defenses ahead of offenses. A little concerned.
No collective bargaining agreement in college football. These guys have been hitting.
Right. So you want to be a little bit conservative. A lot of the coaches don't want to mess up. You got a lot of new quarterbacks that are coming in. So
Minnesota, perfect example.
And big game for both teams. It's like this is an epic disaster if Minnesota loses this game.
Vanderberg's gone. They have 3 quarterbacks they were trying to choose. Right. None of them are talented.
Exactly. So UNLV has their quarterback. They got their skill position players. I got a stat for you, though. Money, as you know, is pouring in on UNLV. So the line was 15.5, 15, down to 14. Not only down to 14, but normally when it's down to 14, you can find a 14.5, 15. Maybe you got to drive over to station, maybe up to Aliante.
Yeah.
Or no, they're all someone is betting big, taking out
here,
UNLV.
Out here too.
Yes. So UNLV, the sharp better so far. Things could reverse. The real money hasn't shown. Feel that UNLV is the right side. However, I went through UNLV's last 19 road games, all right? I'm going to spare you reading these totals that they scored each and every game. Let's just say that this game, at its projected final score, 33-19 approximately, rounding up a little bit with the total at 51.5, 14-point spread, 33-19. If you went UNLV under 19 points in every road game, this includes games at Idaho. Team total include games at Idaho, games at Louisiana Tech, games at West Virginia, who has no defense, games at New Mexico that has no team. You add them all up. Guess how they do if you went under 19 points for UNLV?
How many games?
19.
19 games? 13-6, 14-5,
18-1.
Wow. I'm like, hey, give me what 65%, 67% winners, and I'll jump on it blindly with that sample size.
So much for me wanting to run out and bet the Rebels with the steam plus the 14.5. So I know I don't want the Rebels because that's just too god-awful bad.
Right.
But the sharp money, so the sharp money is on the Rebels, and they can't score. And what that tells me is
low-scoring game. And it makes sense because Minnesota, they have no one to throw the ball, and they have no receivers to catch the ball. So whoever's going to step up at quarterback isn't going to have anyone throw the ball anyway. But they do have a running game, always have a running game. Minnesota.
They're going to have a much bigger line.
Exactly. And more importantly, this team, all they have is defense. The only names you know is on the defense side of the ball. They return 8 starters, and they play Big Ten football. So, I mean, they're decent defensive players. Even though it's Minnesota, it's still, you know, it's the Big Ten. So I think defensively, Minnesota is going to show up for this game, and it makes sense if the sharp money likes the plus 14 and a low-scoring game. Why not?
The only way they're going to score is to go ahead and keep it under. You know, one thing I wanted to share with you, I've got my 2 Bibles, basically college football. I got the Mark Lawrence, I got the Phil Steele. So this is like the novel.
Right.
What I do, and this is a Brian Leonard tip, I go in here and it shows like in bold, it shows every player. And so what I do if I want to check injuries and stuff, I do what Brian does. I see whoever's out and I see, is he a starter? Is he important? Is he in bold? And I make adjustments based upon that. Then I go to the Cliff Notes, the Mark Lawrence. And the nice thing about the Mark Lawrence is it shows you like a stats from last year's game. It actually shows how many yards. Like last year, Minnesota did get 470 yards. UNLV only got like 250, even though the game went to overtime. And so this is the one I love carrying around at all times. This is like the heavy lifting one, like late at night, that'll go ahead and utilize. I don't know if you do something similar with the 2.
Yeah, I have both of those too. I mean, these are for every year I've been getting these. But
I mean, I'm betting too many games. This is too slow.
It is, and some of the information is impertinent to this year.
And it's not even in alphabetical order, so it takes me an extra 40 seconds to find every team. So I just have to look something quick up on a schedule.
Right.
It has NFL and it has college football both.
Yeah, I like it.
So I went back and I saw last year, and where I'm really going with this is last year final score 30-27. We have a local celebrity in town here, handicapper, Smokin' Dave Koken. I believe this was a key under the hat play, which Dave always wins. And the steam was coming out of the hat by the time this one got done. 30-27, triple overtime. A lot of sharps on the under. Correct side, 13-13.
Yeah, 52.5 was the total.
Went nuts. And that's the danger with the college football overtime. So I like to look at, a lot of people just look at that final score and say, all right, we'll make this total 51.5, right? And you can see what can happen.
I like it.
Can I propose a change in the college football overtime rules?
What is it?
This NCAA. Remember, I had to call Bud Selig, and he finally.
I remember that. It's coming. It's coming for next year.
Coming. So Selig has finally listened to me. Okay, NCAA. Do I have to do everything around here? Stop with the crap of the 7 overtimes. You try to fix it by they have to go for 2 instead of kicking the extra point in the 3rd overtime. Wrong. The first team that scores, they can kick their extra point. Make the second team that scores, they're the ones that are not allowed to kick the extra point.
They have to go for the win.
They have to go for 2. And you know what? People say, well, they get screwed by doing it. Well, they got to defer, and they got the ball last in the first overtime. So they had an edge winning the coin flip. So that helps offset that edge somewhat. So obvious. 30 years from now, that's what they'll be doing.
You've been saying your prayers and eating your vitamins.
It'll take forever.
Getting ready for football, right?
I've been eating something.
I like it.
So I'm ready. Rebels. So I'm ready to go ahead and make this official.
I like it. I absolutely am on board with the under. You gave this to me earlier in the week. I already bet it.
Yes. Let's do it. UNLV, Minnesota. Boy, I'm rooting for Bobby Hauck to have a big season. I really like Bobby and what he's doing with the team and the direction they're taking. But in this game, I am going to go under the 51.5. I expect the Rebels are still, you look at that 1-18 against their team total number, under. They're still going to have trouble scoring, but I think the defense is going to be able to keep them in the game. And not only am I going to play the under, since I'm here with VR, I'm going to sprinkle the parlay.
Do it.
Dog to the under.
Don't be shy.
It's the perfect number, plus 14, along with an under 51.5. Correlated, but not so correlated
right.
that they're going to deny you and cut you off. So we'll put like 3/4 of a bet on the under, about 1/4 of a bet. We'll take that plus 260 on the parlay. Sprinkle that in.
I like it.
I'm learning from you.
I like it.
I'm learning from you.
I like it.
Absolutely.
You got to go for the score.
Very good. So that is my free play of the week here, and we're going to be coming back. Let me see what we have this fun. We need to get a new toner. It's the budget. Is the budget that bad? We're going to go preseason. It's like,
that's my pick.
VR's got one pick.
One pick this week.
We're going to go preseason football. New Orleans. They're an offensive juggernaut. They have no defense. They're Xbox video all the time. They're at Miami. VR is going to tell you why we should play under.
Under.
Stay tuned. Pregame.tv.
Love it. Love it.